You know, this bike is really special. It's called the Beast. My dad actually rode this bike on the street back in the 40s, Southern California, and he was kind of like, you know, the terror of the streets back in the, late 40s after the war. My dad, in 1948, he got polio, so he couldn't ride the bike anymore. He spent about 6 months in an iron lung and with the polio. And getting out of the iron lung, he was, trying to kind of figure out what to do. A buddy of his says, hey, let's take the Beast out. They're having races out at the airport this weekend. Let's go out there and run the bike. My dad thought, you know what? That sounds like a lot of fun. So he got one of his buddies to ride the bike. They went out to Santa Ana Airport, now currently is John Wayne Airport, Santa Ana, California. That was where they held the first sanctioned drag race in 1949. My dad took the bike out there and they won the race. Not just beat the bikes, but that was beat the cars, beat everything. That was top fuel. They called it top eliminator back then. And so you would race against whatever pulled up in the other lane and have eliminations until the two fastest cars or vehicles would run in the final. And the Beast was the fastest. I mean, it was something. My dad had heard about the Germans using nitromethane during World War II in some of their fighter planes, and so he thought, I want to get some of that. That'll work pretty good in my motorcycle. So was one of the first vehicles to run nitromethane. And he actually, for the day, it was pretty advanced. Some of the things that he did on the bike to make it run, ran 130 miles an hour in the quarter mile in the 40s, which was pretty amazing, with a little tire that's only 3 inches wide. I mean, no helmet. The guy's wearing, glasses and a t-shirt going 130 miles an hour. It's just, it's amazing, what all these pioneers in racing did back in the day. And they made use of what they had to get the most out of what they had. And that was really probably the story of my dad with the Beast. During about the first 3 years of drag racing, the motorcycles were actually faster than the cars until the tires started coming around and the engines on the cars could make a little more power. They came out with a Hemi engine, stuff like that. So the cars started beating the motorcycles in the early 50s. But for the first couple of years, the motorcycles were actually quicker and faster than the cars. So there's a article sitting over here by the bike, and the lead of the article is Drag King of Them All. So that was the bike, was actually the drag king of them all. It was it. I mean, that was the big daddy of drag racing. So pretty neat. And actually talking to Big Daddy Don Garlits a few years ago about the motorcycle, he said, Doug, I got to tell you, that is the most famous motorcycle in drag racing history. So pretty cool. Pretty neat that it's able to be here. Don Miller found out that it was in my garage, and he goes, Doug, that's way too cool to have in your garage. Please let us take that over and have it, displayed in the museum. So that's why the bike's here is through my relationship with Don and being friends with him for so long, and pretty neat.